Welcome to Marathon in the Florida Keys. This island paradise spans across 13 different keys and is home to the most beautiful blue waters you'll find in the entire United States.
It's also where you'll find some of the best snorkeling, the freshest seafood, and the most scenic bike ride. We can't wait to show it all to you, so let's get going. We decided to start our day off here at Mr. Bean's for coffee, but we had actually originally planned on having breakfast at the 7 Mile Grill. But when we got there, we learned that they were closed for renovations for a few weeks, which was quite a bummer because the place had some really delicious sounding food on their menu. But in a way, it kind of worked out because we had a huge dinner last night.
Now speaking of the prior night, that's when we enjoyed this unbelievably delicious mahi and blackfin tuna that we had caught just a few hours prior off of Islamorada. If you haven't already seen that experience, along with the rest of our adventures on Marathon's neighbor to the northeast, then we'd highly recommend you check out that episode after this one.
The water out here is so gorgeous. Wow.
And since we actually had that amazing fish dinner in Key Largo, you can find that experience in our Key Largo episode. But for now, let's get back to Marathon.
So this is Mr. Bean's.
Wanders around, make sure, everything's going okay.
Yeah. And this is Muffin.
Seriously, this cat loves Skylar.
Why wouldn't it?
There are several people in here, and Muffin keeps going up to Skylar. Oh, both of you are enjoying your breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
We just left the coffee shop. I got an iced latte and Skylar got a hot latte with brown butter toffee flavoring. We both agreed that the coffee was good. It was fairly strong, but the highlight of this place had to be the cats. Mr. Bean stayed behind the counter during our visit, but Muffin absolutely loved Skylar. We both thought Mr. Bean's was a great place to get out of the heat, grab a drink, and enjoy a book, but we couldn't stay there long because we had a tour to get to.
We just arrived here at the Turtle Hospital where in the mornings they run turtle tours every half hour. The next one starts in only 3 minutes, so we'll see you inside.
The building where you pay for the tour is full of information about sea turtles and the history of the hospital.
Something really interesting about this property is that it used to be a hotel. The rooms where the guests used to stay is now where the staff stays, and the swimming pool is now turtles only. This hospital does have a goal of rescuing, rehabbing, and releasing, but of course some turtles sustain injuries where they cannot be released and they find a permanent home here. The ones that do get rescued get picked up in special turtle ambulances. Once they go through rehab and are ready to be released, they actually bring them back to the same area where they were initially rescued.
This turtle actually gets physical therapy a couple times a week. The turtles stay in rehab until they pass a swim test.
We just finished up our tour here at the Sea Turtle Center, and it was a lot more than we expected. It was an hour-and-a-half long, fully guided tour. We learned all sorts of things about the different types of sea turtles, the threats they face out in their environment, why they end up here at the hospital, and how they're treated. Now, we did also get to see a lot of sea turtles, and we even got to feed some.
You may notice that the turtles we were feeding looked a little different than your typical sea turtle, and this is because a lot of them have bubble butt syndrome, which is when air gets trapped in their shell, oftentimes due to being struck by a boat. This syndrome causes them to float on the surface and prevents them from diving. The brown spots on their shells are weights which help the turtles to be able to dive underwater.
She doesn't want the food though, does she?
So the loggerhead was not interested in our food because apparently she eats lobster.
We found an area with a bunch of iguanas. This guy seems to be sunning himself.
After our turtle tour, we went to check in for our lodging for the evening, which we will be giving you a tour of later today. But first we gotta grab lunch, and as many of you probably know, the Florida Keys have a lot of Cuban influence, especially when it comes to food, because you can find Cuban restaurants all over these keys. Now, the best rated one that I was able to find is located right here in Marathon, and we love Cuban food, so that's where we're having lunch today.
So I ordered today's special, which is picadillo. From my understanding, it is ground beef with rice and also yuca. Skylar went with the croqueta sandwich, and we can't wait to try them. So there's also beans in it, which I forgot, and they threw in a couple of plantains for us to try. Oh my gosh. The flavor in that meat is so good. Oh my gosh. That's excellent. Now this is the yuca. Oh my gosh. Yes, I can hear you now. I know you're gonna love it.
Now, I have had plenty of Cuban croquettes before, but I have never had a croqueta sandwich. It looks really good. The bread is so soft, and the meat is so flavorful. The cheese is so melty. That is a good sandwich. That is really good too, completely different than the yuca. The yuca is not sweet at all. These are very sweet. Really can't go wrong with either though.
We just left LJ's and we now know why it is rated a perfect 5 out of 5 stars on Google. The food was incredible. Now, I wasn't quite sure about that special because it was primarily ground beef, but the staff really recommended it. And that beef was seasoned very well and it went perfectly with the rice and the beans, and the yuca was easily the best yuca we've had outside of the Caribbean. Now, I also have to mention Skylar's sandwich because he said that was one of the best sandwiches he's had in a long time, but we both agreed that my meal was the favorite. Now, after eating so much food, we have to go get some exercise. So we actually had an excursion booked today to go out snorkeling, but we are visiting the Keys during their low season. And for a lot of companies, that means if they don't have enough people for an excursion, that it gets canceled. And unfortunately, there weren't enough people that signed up for our snorkeling tour, and it did get canceled. But thankfully, where we're staying offers complimentary paddle rentals as well as bike rentals. So we decided to take out the tandem kayak and do a little touring ourselves. I don't know if this is an area that typically has a lot of boat traffic.
There's none today. We've seen 2 boats drive through here, I think.
But again, we're here in the low season and today's a Monday. So we did have to fight a little bit of current to get back to this mangrove area, but we made it. Now once we've docked, we're gonna go show you where we're staying for the night.
Crocodile.
No. Don't you do that to me.
What time is it? Any idea?
No idea. I don't think we were out too long though. We made it out of the tandem without tipping. All right, got it on the dock.
Yeah.
Good work. So I think we'll go change, cool off, and do the room tour.
And then find a happy hour.
All right, perfect. Welcome to the Dolphin Apartment in Building 7 here at Captain Pip's Marina and Hideaway. Now this is a 1-bed, 1-bath right on the water. As soon as you walk in, you'll probably notice that these buildings have been here for a while. They have a lot of old Florida character mixed with some modern touches, starting here in the spacious kitchen. While there are so many options of places to eat nearby, if you do feel like cooking, this place is fully equipped to do that. It's got a microwave, stove, dishwasher, and plenty of counter space. It also has smaller appliances like a blender, toaster, and coffee pot, plus things like utensils, dishware, pots and pans, and silverware. Now the kitchen does open up into the living and dining areas. The living room has a chair and a sleeper sofa on either side of it. There are lamps with built-in charging stations. Across from it is the TV. I should also mention that this room has a ceiling fan and the AC works really good. Beyond the living space is the dining room with a table and chairs with great views of the water. You may notice that there is a door that leads outside in the dining room. We are going to take you there, but first we're going to show you the bathroom and the bedroom. Now this bathroom is a bit cozy, but they have utilized the space very well. There's a bunch of shelving space, there's an extra deep medicine cabinet with a hairdryer, and there's a drawer and additional cabinet space under the sink. Inside this walk-in shower, you'll find plenty of space for your personal items in these corner shelves, and they do provide shampoo and body wash. Across the hallway is the bedroom, which features a king bed with nightstands on either side and 2 more of those lamps with charging ports. This room also features a TV, a dresser, a ceiling fan, a wall mirror, and a bonus nook around the corner. Now we do really love having this dedicated workspace, so that way we don't have to have our electronics and computer set up in the living or dining room. Over here, it's kind of out of sight. Now in this area is where you'll also find the closet for the bedroom. Here's where you'll find the iron and ironing board, a few hangers, and plenty of space to store your luggage. Now as you can see, this room also has a view of the water, so we're going to take you out there to give you a closer look at it. Just outside you'll find a few places to sit, a huge hammock, and some of the docks. Now we really love the location of this building because it is right on the bay and close to the waterfront pool. Now there are some additional perks to staying here at Captain Pip's. First, the location is really close to the 7 Mile Bridge, and we already mentioned those complimentary rentals. They also offer rentals for things like jet skis and golf carts, and offer tours like snorkeling, going to a private island, going to a sandbar, or sunset tours. We do have to thank Captain Pip's for hosting us while we're here on Marathon. If you're interested in booking a tour with them or even staying here, we'll make sure to leave all their booking information on the screen and in the video description. But for now, we've got to go catch a sunset.
Travel near or far, let's toast to the sunset on the seas and make our lucky stars. Cheers! Cheers!
We had originally planned on going to Key's Fisheries for sunset, but when we arrived, we noticed a place right next door called Shannon's Shuckers and Shakers that actually looked like it would have a better view for sunset. It did turn out to have a great sunset view, and they also have a lot of really good drink deals. We found out they're actually connected to Key's Fisheries. We got some peel and eat shrimp, we got a smoked wahoo dip, we got a conch ceviche, and also some crab soup. Now those of you who know me well know that I love pumpkin everything, so I had to order the pumpkin beer that they have on tap. This one is a lot darker than most pumpkin beers, but I like it quite a bit. It's definitely one of the better pumpkin beers I've ever had. So my second beer of the night is Queen Conch. It's a raspberry beer from Islamorada Brewing, and we actually went to that brewery in our Islamorada episode, and we tried quite a few different beers, but we didn't try this one. I actually love this beer though. It's kind of like a sour IPA with raspberry flavor. It's definitely one of the better beers I've had from Islamorada Brewing. Maybe my favorite. We just left the upstairs bar at Key's Fisheries, which is currently known as Shannon's Shuckers and Shakers, but if you're watching this video after 2024, there's a good chance it's going to be named as something else because the bartender told us that they change the name of that place every year. Now we really enjoyed that place. It was open air, it had great views of the water and the sunset. They had a good variety of beers, they had some really inexpensive cocktails, and also some really great food. Now speaking of the food, all of it was good, but my favorite was easily the smoked wahoo dip. Jamie also really enjoyed that. She said that was her favorite as well, but for her, the peel and eat shrimp was a close second. But after our first day in Marathon, we are stuffed and we are tired, so we'll catch back up with you in the morning.
If you do stay here, we would highly recommend getting up early and coming out here to the docks. It's so peaceful. The only thing I can hear are the birds and the roosters.
This place is straight out of the Caribbean, chickens and all. Look who I spotted.
For breakfast today, I went with the breakfast sandwich and Jamie went with the pancakes, but as you can probably see, these are not your typical breakfast sandwich and pancakes. I ordered the breakfast sandwich mainly for the bacon that comes on it. It sounds like they cure it in-house and it's super thick. It almost looks more like pork belly than bacon. I cannot wait to try this. The flavor of that bacon is unreal and that mozzarella just melts in your mouth. So good.
So I went with the souffle pancakes, so they're really thick. They come with a lot of fresh fruit on top and mango sauce, and I think a coconut sauce too. I can say I've never had pancakes like those before. The texture is totally different, but they are really good. I really like that coconut sauce. It's not too overpowering. Mixing that with the flavors of the fresh fruit and the mango sauce, it all just goes very well together. Oh my gosh, the flavor of that bacon is so good. As much as I love those souffle pancakes, you gotta at least try the bacon.
So we made it here to the Pigeon Key train depot where you can either hop on the Pigeon Key Express or begin a bike ride over the old 7-mile bridge to Pigeon Key. Now, if you didn't bring your own bikes to Marathon, aren't staying somewhere with free bike rentals, or don't have a bike rack on your car, don't worry because Keys Vacation Supply Rentals will bring bikes directly to you. Today we are going to be riding e-bikes because it is already super hot outside, it's very humid, and I'm already sweating, so we are really glad that we're not going to have to be pedaling hard to make it to Pigeon Key.
After meeting up with Denise and Dave to pick up our e-bikes for the day, we were on our way to the old 7-mile bridge.
So from that parking lot, there is a paved bike path to get to the bridge. And there's the water. The water looks gorgeous. And we're not even on the bridge yet. So this is the current 7-mile bridge, but we are going to be taking the old 7-mile bridge. It's for pedestrians and bicycles only. Here's the little trolley coming through that will take you back and forth to Pigeon Key. It takes the same bridge that the pedestrians and the bikes do.
This was easily the best bike path we've been on yet. Not only was it paved nicely, it was plenty wide and the views along the entire bridge were incredible, with turquoise waters to the north and the current 7-mile bridge to the south. Even though you can only bike, walk, or run on the old bridge for a little over 2 miles to Pigeon Key, it took us a while to get there because we had to stop a few times to take in the scenery.
We've stopped kind of in the middle of the bridge to enjoy the view. Thankfully there is a bit of a breeze today, but look that way, there's hardly anybody. Same with that way. It's a perfect day.
The old bridge parallels the current 7-mile bridge, which connects the middle keys to the lower keys.
So we've been biking maybe 5 minutes right now and we just hit the 1-mile marker and we've only met 2 other bikers on this trail. I cannot believe how few people are on it.
The water is so pretty. Oh, another pelican! Hey buddy! There's Skylar way up there. Just enjoying the ride. And this is as far as we can go on the old bridge. We can go down there to go to the island. So let's go check out what the old bridge looks like. So even though we can't bike the whole 7 miles, I think later today we will be driving over the whole 7-mile bridge. The water here is super clear. Look at how pretty it is.
We made it to the end of the 2-mile trail. It was paved and flat the entire way. There was also almost nobody on it, so other than the oppressive heat, it was a really easy ride, especially on e-bikes.
Now once you've arrived at the end of this bike trail, you can turn around and ride the 2 miles back to Marathon or pay a $15 admission fee to explore Pigeon Key. And since we already paid the price of admission before we began our bike ride, we were off to explore the island.
There are a bunch of bike racks here on Pigeon Key, and our Keys Vacation Supply rental bikes, they do come with locks, so we're locking them up here, and we'll go explore the island a bit. Now there is somebody here that would do a tour. I think he said it could be about 55 minutes. I don't think we're gonna stay here that long, but it's good to know that that's an option if you're interested in taking a tour. How's that water feel?
It doesn't cool you off much at all.
He was hoping to cool down a bit, but Apparently the water's quite warm. It's a cool spot here between the 7 Mile Bridge and the old bridge. They do have a gift shop out here, so you can get drinks and snacks.
I've yet to see a pigeon on this key though. I've seen a lot of those little finches flying around. I've seen a couple pelicans, 0 pigeons.
Skylar is on a hunt for pigeons and he is still striking out. Oh, this is a cute little cottage, the honeymoon cottage.
Can you actually rent that, you think?
I have no idea. Over here is the paint foreman's house. So this building is kind of cool, all the buoys on the rafters, but it is not air conditioned.
After a brief self-guided tour of Pigeon Key, we were sweaty and ready to find a break from the heat, which led us towards the dock at the north end of the key.
So this is the view by their docks out here. This is absolutely gorgeous. When we arrived, the tour guide said there was some really good snorkeling out around the docks. Unfortunately, we don't have any snorkel gear with us right now, but we're hoping to go to a snorkel spot later today. So that's the part of the bridge that we rode over. And then over here, you can see that's as far as we could go. We just saw a giant stingray. We've already seen some alligator gar and other small fish.
I am hot and this water looks great, so I'm going in for a swim.
How is it?
It's nice.
Is it cooler than the water you stepped in earlier?
It's a little cooler, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So at least a little refreshing?
It's refreshing, yeah.
Nice.
Are you coming in?
I think I'm gonna wait to get in the water till later this afternoon. All right, you convinced me. I'm just gonna walk down this ladder here and dip in quick.
Is that all the further you're going in?
I'm not ready to get my hair wet.
You're afraid of those crocodiles, I think.
Stop it. That was a nice way to cool down.
Time to bike back. After cooling off in the water, we were ready to bike back, but we ran into the tour guide out here who said he's gonna be feeding some tarpon and sharks in a little bit, so we're gonna watch that and then we'll bike back to Marathon.
Oh, hi. I'm gonna try to feed this little shark here. Ready? Yeah. Here's one coming for you, Skylar.
Oh, see the grouper below him there?
Oh yeah, that's a big
Do you know
grouper.
what kind it is?
That's a Goliath.
Goliath grouper, okay.
Oh wow! They had to run for that one. After spending time out here on Pigeon Key, we would highly recommend making the trip, especially if you're not a boat person, because it is the easiest way to be surrounded by this gorgeous water without having to take a boat ride. Adios, Pigeon Key! Skylar is already off. The water is even prettier than whenever we rode over.
As we make our way back from Pigeon Key, we want to say thank you to Keys Vacation Supply Rental for hooking us up with our e-bikes for the day, as they were the perfect way to experience the 7 Mile Bridge in Pigeon Key. And we should also mention that Keys Vacation Supply offers a whole lot more than bikes, as you can also rent kayaks and paddleboards, snorkel equipment, coolers, tents and chairs, games, baby gear, and a whole bunch of other items here. To see the whole list of what they offer or to reserve your supplies for your next marathon vacation, visit keysvacationsupplyrentals.com. Now, in addition to our e-bikes, the folks at Keys Vacation Supply were also kind enough to loan us some snorkel gear and even recommend a spot to use it, and that's where we'd be headed next. As we made our way westwards across the 7 Mile Bridge, we came across a landmark that I'd been excited to see.
Oh, here comes that tree. All right, we gotta show you all the tree. Oh, this is our first time seeing it in person.
Now the Florida Keys definitely aren't known for their gorgeous beaches, but they do have one that does occasionally show up on Florida's top beaches list. We are going to be taking you to that beach. It's actually just on the other side of the 7 Mile Bridge from Marathon. But first we're taking you to a beach called Horseshoe Beach. So we followed a small path until we arrived at what we think is Horseshoe Beach. We are told that the good snorkeling is to the left, and we do see some big rocks over there, so we're guessing that's where the fish are. Hopefully we'll find some of them.
Skylar is out there snorkeling. He's waving at me to come in. I'm about to join him. Skylar does not want to go, I know. He would snorkel out here for hours.
We had a lot of fun snorkeling here at Horseshoe Beach. It was really easy to find. It was really easy to access the snorkeling area. The water wasn't super clear. Jamie actually talked to someone that had been here a while, and he told her that it was the least clear the water had been all day. But we still saw a ton of fish. We had a lot of fun, and we'd say it's definitely worth coming here. But now it's time to check out Bay of Honda, which is just a couple miles up the road.
We're now on our way to Bay of Honda State Park. We think there are 3 different beaches there, but we're only going to have time to go to one. So we're going to go to the one that's most popular and known to be most beautiful, which is Sandsburg. So we have made it out to the beach, but unfortunately our visit is going to be a short one because we have already gotten way too much sun for the day, and we skipped lunch in lieu of going snorkeling and coming here. This beach has soft white sand and really pretty clear blue water. Now this beach is a very natural beach as they do not remove the sargassum because it's part of their ecosystem, but as a result you do get days like this where there is a bunch of it on the beach, but that's not going to prevent us from going and enjoying it.
After leaving the state park, it was finally time to grab some dinner, and we were starving since we had skipped lunch earlier in the day.
We're here at Sunset Grill for dinner at the recommendation of Rick, who was with us on our fishing charter in Isla Mirada. Unfortunately, they did sustain some damage from Hurricane Helene a few days ago. As a result, their pool is drained and they're replacing a bunch of pavers around it, but the view is still amazing. Also, they have a hogfish sandwich and she crab soup that we cannot wait to try, and the beer's tasting pretty good too. As you can see, this hogfish sandwich is massive. I can't even close it, so I'm not gonna be able to eat it like a normal sandwich. So everything about this sandwich is unique. I've never had a fish sandwich on Cuban bread before. I've never had a fish sandwich with a bunch of melted smoked Gouda or onions and mushrooms on it, but it all goes together so good. It's really crunchy, but the bread is soft. Overall, it's just a great sandwich. This is probably like the 5th or 6th bowl of seafood chowder we've had on this Keys trip. And I haven't had one that I didn't like, but this one might be the best, at least top 2. It is full of crabs. Some of the other soups we had didn't have that much seafood in them, but this one has a bunch. Now, as the name would suggest, the Sunset Grill is a great spot to catch a sunset, and we would love to do just that. But sunset's still an hour away, and Jamie has yet to have any ice cream on this Keys trip, so I guess we're gonna go change that now.
We made it to Conch Custard for my ice cream fix. Their ice cream is homemade. Skylar and I decided to share a large bowl. I chose confetti cake and he chose lemon poppy seed. This was the first time we had ever seen a lemon poppy seed ice cream. Now I can already tell you both of these are delicious and they're actually really good mixed together as well. Now if you don't want to miss what else we get up to in the Keys, be sure to subscribe to our channel, turn those notifications on, and click on this episode next. Thanks for watching.